Welcome back. We are here for the Between Stars and Suns, episode 19, the finale of our mastermind threat and our campaign. When last we left off, before the stroke of midnight, Titania presented all the attendees of her hunt ball with a proposition. Either don the mask that you were given at your seat and become one of the hunters for the wild hunt that will be happening after the ball, or choose not to wear the mask and become prey. I think we know the decision that everybody made for this. And unless anybody wants to change anything or kind of zip back in time a little bit to something they may have done or may have said, we'll just keep going.
No, I think that I'm still going to not wear the mask, but I don't think that Mildred would have put on the loose fitting clothing that was offered. She's not that kind of girl.
I brought my own mask, thanks.
I think if I could recall correctly, Titania was shooting daggers at you through her mask, Eligos. So
I think I'm wearing more than enough masks already.
and Smoke, I think you put mirror on your shoulder and decided not to.
Yep.
Okay. All righty. And as the minutes count down, anyone that has not put on the mask, I think that Titania has herded, with the help of her servants, into what could only be considered a corral, out of the great hall, out from the great foyer of this place, away from the ballroom, and into the back. And you see darkness and the forest ahead of you. Above in the sky are stars that seem to shine in some sort of unknown pattern. And even if you did know what the constellations were, I don't think they are constellations seen anywhere on Earth. And the moon shines down from its little corner, and you hear sounds in the distance in the forest. You hear animal sounds, as if there's a zoo nearby. That's impossible. You hear, Mildred, I think you hear the cackles of the coven. I think the ladies of sorrow are quite active, or getting ready to be at the moment. And you hear the whispered murmurs of those that have joined you in this corral. And you see the hunters wearing their masks of varying shapes and sizes, looking sinister in the moonlight. Who do you see? I'll ask each of you. One person from those in the throng that you see here as prey, ready to escape out into the wild, I suppose, and be hunted. Who do you see out here, Sir Atticus?
Father O'Donnell, looking around. Stiff upper lip, he's not going to put other people in danger, but there's fear behind those eyes. He's not sure how far he'll get.
Smoke, who do you see? And it doesn't have to be a named side character, maybe somebody that you've passed along the busy streets of London that you recognize but never asked their name.
I think I see. It can be anyone, right? I think I see my mother. You said anyone, so
Mildred, who do you see?
I think looking around, I see two people. I see Dr. Noble and Samuel.
And Eligos. Who do you see among this throng?
That I know?
Or that you've seen but don't necessarily know their name?
Hang on, pulling up my Google Doc listing all the characters I need to deck. How's Kemuel doing? We know he's here.
You lost sight of him and Lady Edwina when
Right.
everyone was getting ready for the hunt ball, so you're not sure. You don't necessarily see him amongst the people that are gathered here. He might be one of the people in the masks. You don't know.
And I think I will spot definitely one Mr. Beryl Staves. One of my network who towers head and shoulders above the rest of the crowd, mask or not.
I think just as an aside, I think you see Dr. Noble talking with Beryl, and he is quietly commiserating with her and then starting to put Samuel on his shoulders.
I think seeing him start to put Samuel on his shoulders, Mildred would approach in this sort of, are we like corralled in like a barn or something like that? Or are we out in the open?
It's
Okay.
well, I mean, it's like kind of an enclosed space with like like a gate in front of you, but you can see out into the distance, into the forest beyond.
She'll go up to Beryl and say, I wouldn't recommend doing that. And she looks up at Samuel, trying to put this as gently as possible. They may take notice of him if he is on your shoulders.
And he looks stricken, as he didn't think of that. And then he will slowly bring Samuel down and pat him on the head. And Dr. Noble will look at you gratefully and say, I don't understand. I don't understand why we're here. They came in the night. Andrew wasn't at home, and all of a sudden we ended up here. I don't know what's going on.
Did you
Why?
hear anything or did you hear anything said or spoken, or did you see anything on your way here? Information, excuse me, with reason. That's a 3.
Oh my. Off to a wonderful start. Okay. Coming back to you in half a sec. Half a mo. Anybody else want to talk to anybody or look around or do anything information-wise while you are waiting for the minutes to tick down?
We're just gathered among the prey, right? Just
Correct. I mean, you could just as easily be assessing, like, avenues. It's a unique experience for you, Sir Atticus. You are now on the other side of the coin.
Yeah. Wounded Gazelle Gambit is probably something I'll go for, but until then. Eligos?
Is Queen Victoria among us? Any obvious, if we can spot her?
No,
Of course not.
of course not.
It's a clearing of trees. I'd like to climb up one of the trees and just scope the area, see if I can spot the clearing, spot traps, spot a place where they clearly don't want us to go. It's likely that that may be where Victoria is.
I'm gonna say you're still in the enclosure, so you're not quite there
Ah,
yet.
Okay,
But I
fair
mean,
enough.
like again, if you want to observe your surroundings to kind of see where you want to go next, I mean that's perfectly fine. And in the same vein, like go ahead and roll an information move. And while he's thinking of that, Smoke, do you have anything that you want to do right now, whether speaking to someone or looking around?
What is Titania doing?
Oh, she is like up on the balcony section of that side of the mansion, the manor house, and she's looking down upon you all wearing her fanged skull mask with the big huge antlers.
But
And
she's not
she's
doing anything.
no, she's just kind of surveying everyone and getting ready for the clock to strike.
And how much time is left again?
Say a few minutes.
And there's no possible way I could get up to where Titania is.
No. I mean, like I can appreciate the idea of doing a Spartacus move. First season, by the way.
Smoke would do it.
I know you would do it. I know you would do it, but like you'd need to be engaged in a fight, and then you'd need to have somebody like, launch you with their shield up into the air to the balcony. I mean, it's really complicated for a few minutes, you know what I'm saying?
I have an
Can
idea
I
what
catch Titania's eye and just stare her down though?
If you want, I mean,
I would do it.
of course you would. I'm gonna say it's like, she surveys the land and then she's looking at you with mirror on your shoulder. And for whatever reason, I think you are setting yourself away from others. And so it's almost like you have your own little cleared area. So she can't help but notice you there. And as you're looking up at her, she's looking down at you through her hollowed eye sockets of this skull. And I would like you to roll with sensitivity.
Okay, that's a +2.
Wait, let's see. Just for funsies. Night move. What do you think will go wrong?
Oh, so while I'm aiming to sort of piss her off a little more, I'm scared that she's going to mess with, well, the others, because like I don't want them to suffer because of like me being me wanting to stare this woman down. So yeah, I'm scared she's going to not only like make me suffer, but also the rest of Hargrave House and the other folk that are here.
I think she's going to instill she's going to instill a little bit of that descendancy in you. So much so that she's going to call upon that monster you hide. Bringing it out, maybe. I think you still have a condition, don't you?
I think I have 1, if I'm not wrong.
Go ahead and roll with
Sure.
disadvantage, please.
I have 1. Yeah, I have kid scars. Disadvantage, so that's 3. Okay, 2 5s and a 4, so that's still an 11.
All right, before I address that and Mildred's 3, anybody else want to roll on anything? investigation or something possibly risky?
Yes,
Okay.
I would like to approach Father O'Donnell, and I would like to just kind of call out the fact that he wouldn't place himself here as prey willingly unless he had a plan. I trust him. He's a friend of the Wellington-Hughes family. He's a confidant. He knows what he's dealing with.
Okay.
And with that context in mind, I would like to use the hunter move in want of privilege, where
Okay.
I leverage my family name and reputation in order to gain assistance from my old family friend, Father O'Donnell.
Okay. So go ahead and roll with the appropriate modifier.
That would be presence.
Yep.
Do I get advantage since I have a rapport with Father O'Donnell?
Yes, I'm going to say you do. I think, hold on, is there a move with him? No, they didn't take it. Sorry. Okay. So, you can go ahead and just take that as an advantageous thing because of your connection. Sure.
That is an 11.
Right.
Which means that they have a history with our family, as established, and will help for the remainder of the phase. And any information they give can be the form of a clue, and any roles associated with actions they help with are taken at advantage.
Okay.
So,
I'm going to give you a clue, and then I'll go backwards and then deal with everybody's role.
Yes, I knew he was here for a reason. I knew he had a plan.
All right. I think he tells you very quickly, and time works very strangely here too. So, continuity. He does tell you that he does have a plan. The reason that he's here is because of his supposed connection to the Fae from long ago, sometime way back in his family. But another thing that he says is that he has been on the hunt himself in his own way, in his own corner of what he deals with, for a purported group called the Ladies of Sorrow. And he knows that they have a connection here. They had disappeared from their abbey a long time ago, and he has traced them here, working for Titania. And he has proof because he has one of their blasted tomes on him, or copies of certain things that they were involved in. A pocket-sized version of it, of course, like, whatever notes that he could glean, of course. So that is your capital C clue. Call it a tome of blasphemous rituals. Smoke, your 11 dealing with Titania staring her down. So you do what you've intended. You hold steady. She doesn't faze you. What are you trying to convey in a look, in that glare that you're giving to the Queen of the Fae, who is trying to come back to her old grace and power? What are you doing?
I think it is a lot of just pure rage, and also a lot of more than a specific feeling, more just rage and almost an air of I think you see Smoke, the way they're standing, almost like the air of superiority they had when they were someone with wealth and name and things like that. It's that, but in a different sense of you are nothing to me, but angry.
I think she acknowledges that by raising her mask just a little bit, enough that you can see her staring down at you, and you notice that she looks much younger now. She looks just as you saw in that painting of Richard Dodd's down in the manor house. And she smiles at you and nods, almost like hunter to hunter, but still smiling as if, will you hear in your head? Don't worry, your time will come. And maybe you will be one who decides to join my army. I look forward to seeing that happen. And then she puts the skull mask back on, and her voice comes out of your head.
I'm not going to say anything. Just tilt my chin a little higher. Just almost like, yeah. Just more pride. Just not going to, like, yeah, reply to her anyway.
I think, you had asked Dr. Noble what she had seen, and you got a 3.
Well, I was actually going to ask you,
Yes.
because it was a conversation, could I have rolled it with presence instead?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, in that case, it would have been a 7.
Okay, that's fine. That's cool. Alrighty. So, complication either with the clue itself or complication you had Tanner. Okay. So, I think she will tell you. And, you are sidling up, I guess, to the front of the corral, like it's gated and such. And she's kind of looking off into the distance as if she's trying to remember what she saw so she can tell you. And so, yeah. I saw through the trees. And it seemed like we were going faster than anyone could possibly go on a mere carriage ride, especially through undergrowth like this. But somehow through the trees, I remember seeing a beautiful man. He was almost a light, and he had animals with him, and they were surrounding this place that looked like there was this sapling, like a very young tree. It was like all I could see was gold and then silver, or silver and then gold. It's hard to see. Again, he looked like he was lit up by the glow of this tree that had sprung up in the middle of the darkness. And we saw this, and Samuel and I were marveling because you don't see anything that looks like, or even remotely like that. And she makes like she's going to continue onward, but then all of a sudden you hear a scream rent the air as it's almost like dark birds have started to dive bomb the corral. And in this, one of the dark birds has snatched Samuel up into the air, and he's crying out, "Mommy! Mommy! Mommy!" Samuel! Samuel! Let me out! I've got to go after him! And then you hear the hunting call of the horn somewhere behind you, somewhere around you. And as if by magic, the corral gates open, and you hear Titania's voice in the back of your head. "Flee, pray. You get a head start, and we will follow. Please note that not only I and your human companions will be hunting tonight. There will be others on your trail. Good luck." And some panicked, some composed, some determined. You all spread out into the darkness, running into the forest. in some way, shape, or form. Dr. Noble just stumbles on ahead, trying to follow the dark shape that has snatched up her son. You know, Mildred, that it's the Coven. They're on brooms now. And they
Yeah.
are.
There's a moment as everyone's sort of running out of the corral that Mildred just looks up at these birds and Samuel flying away, and I think she whispers to herself, "We're in this together." And when she does, she closes her eyes and says it. And she looks back up at the sky, and her eyes are black, but with these sort of red, golden irises, eyes very similar to the beasts. She makes a fist with both hands, and I think she's going to go in the direction of the birds. Obviously not flying, but just seeing a direction in the forest where they're going.
Yep. So, as a reminder, you are in it now. No new phases until the equivalent of the dawn at the conclusion of the mastermind threat. You have access to the personal quarters items that you have brought with you, as well as the masks that you have remaining. You also have the threat moves. The threat moves are on the moves reference tab. So I suggest taking a look at them and seeing if any of them come into play or can come into play while you are in the midst of investigation. You are to answer the question, where will Titania spill Victoria's blood to open up a portal to the Fey realm? Okay? And then you will have a chance to answer the question once you've gathered enough clues and put together a theory. Okay? So let's just check.
Was there a clue in that story that Dr. Noble relayed to me?
Yes. Strangely enough, it is related to the what you were shown by Greco before, which is the tree with gold branches and silver roots, but it has to do with the beautiful man. So, beautiful man surrounded by animals by the silver and gold tree. So, utilize anything and everything that you can to conduct your investigation and hopefully answer the question. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. This is a complexity 6 question for where will Titania spill Victoria's blood? Okay. And you resolve the mastermind threat by discovering the place the sacrifice is intended to happen and figure out a way to disrupt the ritual killing to stop Titania's plan from succeeding. Okay. So keep that in mind. All right. So Dr. Noble has rushed after the dark birds, the members of the coven that have snatched up Samuel. And Mildred, I imagine that you're following them. Okay. And then Sir Atticus, what are you wanted to go shimmy up one of the trees, or did you want to change your plan?
I think since you mentioned that Father O'Donnell is here directly pursuing the coven, we're probably in pursuit too. We're accompanying Mildred.
Okay. And Smoke, what are you after? Your mother's here, so I don't know whether you wanted to see what was on with her or do something else.
No, I think I'm going to give her a glance. And did I notice where she went, what she's doing?
She was looking around worriedly. I don't think she saw you, or at least she's not familiar with how you look now. And so therefore she just kind of turned around and would follow like a clump of people that were going in a different direction, spreading out into the forest.
Okay, I'm going to let them do that. I'm going to follow Mildred and Sir Atticus.
Okay.
But I want to see if I can use my move. Which one do I feed? That one.
Ah, okay. So let's read off that move if you don't mind.
When you seek to reach your creature form in a desperate situation, roll with sensitivity. On a 10 plus, you turn into the creature, but you have almost complete control over your actions. On a 7 to 9, you manage to push yourself to turn and nudge the creatures towards the course of action, but the creature acts in a way it believes is best for you, as described by the creeper. On the miss, you turn into a monstrous, uncontrolled version of the creature. Retire this character. Yeah. I mean, yeah, this seems like a good place to. What I will do though is I will make sure that before I do that, I am
Mhm.
in the view of either Mildred or Atticus so that they don't see a random creature just starting to run behind them.
Okay.
Making sure that at least someone sees me turn. Mads looks terrified.
I'm terrified. Go for it. Please roll.
Oh my god. Okay, that was a 2 and a 1. So I'm going to mask that and pull that up to impartial. Because that's a 5
7 to
total.
9.
Yeah.
Oof.
I'm
Okay.
going to mark the last mask of the past I have, I think.
Oh my god. All right. So tell me how you feel yourself changing and what you feel you look like when you do.
I think Smoke is just going to like go and like grab there are trees around, right? Just go and like hold on to a tree, sort of lean against it with one hand on it. And then you see their hands and legs sort of elongating, like strangely so beyond what would normally be human. And behind them, there's these very sharp, ripping through their surprisingly decent clothes. Um, and just these sharp spikes or quills, as it were, but just sort of sharp throughout. And yeah, and their face, like the skin on their face, like, or just the skin on them generally just stretches a little too thin, and they look like, if you look at their face and their eyes, I think you might be able to tell that it's still Smoke, but otherwise they just look like a monster who's got some chunks of Smoke's ripped clothing and just sort of still leaning against the tree, but like the claws have dug into the bark, so they're leaving a scratch.
I think yourself as the creature like starts to feel the pain of everything spearing through you as you make this transformation. It is not an easy process, and it is very painful. And I think in this pain, as the camera shoots to your eyes and you get that bloodshot full look of someone who is trying to rein it in as best as possible, I think your nose involuntarily sniffs. And you, instead of snuffling after Mildred and Sir Atticus and all, you start to move towards where you thought you saw your mother, catching a whiff of her scent. And you, as this creature, starts to shuffle and shamble in that direction. Eligos, what are you doing?
Testing boundaries, I think. More than that, I'm looking for the man in the sun mask.
I think you're one of the last people to leave the corral. It's like almost like you're backing away to just try and see like who's coming after you, when they're going to start to send the vanguard. And I think you see your mother's up on the balcony, She's surveying all. She's flanked by the masked figures of Cobweb and Peas Blossom. And she does have Periwinkle and Fairy Boy also in attendance, wearing masks as well. But then, spilling out from the sides of the house are some of the guests that did put on their masks that they were given. And one of the ones that is coming alongside and possibly slower than the rest, almost as if he's going to enjoy this, is the man in the sun mask. He's not rushing. He's kind of just making his way. And people rush past him. People are ahead of him, trying to chase after everyone. But yeah, he's taking his time. Yeah.
Right.
I will say he's not going where everybody else is going. He's kind of like shifting off to the side, as if he's willing to be at the fringes of the hunt, but not necessarily be an active role in it.
Right. And I will approach him as non-threateningly, I suppose, as I can,
Mhm.
and get his attention. Hey, what can you see? What do you know?
So many have asked that of me, son of Titania. But you have specific question, I believe.
Where is Victoria? Where shall royal blood be spilled?
You know that the ritual requires the chase, the enactment of the hunt. It is when it is. It is where it is. But when it happens, that portal will lead to the Fae. Your mother and others that wish to will be able to go home, including you, if you so choose. Do you want to go back to the Fae?
I cannot say.
I believe with the roll for the man in the sun mask. Information move. And in this case, I'm going to say it's with sensitivity or presence, your choice.
Well, I've got numbers in one of those, I think. Oh no, those are my zeros. Hooray. I got maths to burn.
Do you got items, bro? Come on, man.
That's a 10. Who needs items?
Okay. All right. I'm going to give you 2 clues as he talks to you. Can you fly, boy? Do you remember dancing in the circles of your youth? Do you remember transcending gravity back home with your father and the rest of the Fae?
That is not my memory.
The packs have changed you. Unfortunately, it seems it has also changed what you remember. Maybe this will help you. And he reaches out with one golden gloved hand, and he starts to trace a pattern on your face. And you start feeling where it starts to burn. Almost like when you were dealing with the Duke of Blood's blood. But this is the heat of the sun. And you can see this pattern in your mind's eye, and it is a tattoo of a 7-pointed star.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you remember seeing. This is what marked the spot where you danced. Perhaps that sign is available to you again. And in case it hasn't already burned itself into your memory, perhaps you will remember this. And he finishes the tattoo, and then he places his whole hand on your face, and you hear in your head the sound of a brass bell as it gongs in your head, creates vibrations in your skull, and each time that rings, you can feel yourself getting closer and closer, where you actually feel your hand touching that 7-pointed star. And then the vision fades. Those are your 2 clues. Brass bell and the 7-pointed star tattoo. And I think as your vision fades back to where you are, the man in the sun mask is gone. But the camera pans to your face, and we see a 7-pointed star on your cheek. So, all right. Heading over to Mildred, Atticus, and everybody else who's there. Yeah, you're trying to keep Dr. Noble in sight, and she is just tripping over branches and just like, obviously she is not her composed self. She is a worried and scared mother right now, and she's trying to follow the sight of her son being flown by these shadows, these bird-like shadows. And you hear the cackles, Mildred.
Mildred's not quite running, but I think she is kind of like hiking her skirt up and following as briskly as she can.
Right. They haven't changed either. Obviously, I mean, she's still wearing her sensible skirt and boots and what have you, and she is wearing a burgundy waistcoat. And yeah, I think at some point that she loses them because of the tree canopy just getting really thick overhead, and then she collapses on the ground sobbing. Where are they taking him? What do they want? I don't understand why we're here. Help me. Please help me.
Get up.
She slams her hand into the ground, like kind of like using that as impetus to get herself up. Still crying, of course, but she will.
When Mildred says get up, there's like a deepness to it, a depth to it that doesn't sound like Mildred. It sounds like the influence of something else, but she's like keeping it in check as much as she can.
Yeah. Atticus will see the coven disappearing into the tree line and just say, we're playing by their rules. There are too many questions. We're playing into their hand, and we cannot afford to do that if we're going to win. He's going to turn to Mildred. Yeah, he's going to turn
What do you have in mind?
The void. How do I get there?
She closes her eyes, and her eyes go back to normal, and she blinks a bit and looks around. What do you have on you?
I show my book, my puzzle box, my sword,
This.
and the mask.
She'll, when you show the puzzle box, she'll take it from you. She'll look it over. All right. So, I'm not certain, but this feels like a very powerful object, and it can unlock something, perhaps a door to the void. You have to finish it, though. Do you feel capable of finishing it?
Capable or not, it's something that needs to be done.
Very well. All you have to do is trace the circle on the top, push together the two pieces, and turn, and just keep your mind focused, your heart focused on the location that you are trying to divine.
He will gently take the puzzle box and say, I'll be back. Don't beat Titania without me.
I promise.
I think we can use a combination of both of your things. So, I mean, if you don't already have Cosmic Passage marked, Sir Atticus, then we can totally use Mildred's. And then, of course, you're using the object of power of the cube. I'm going to give you advantage on this if you want to check it off.
Yes.
Okay, check it off for advantage. 3d6, take the two highest plus your sensitivity to go into
All
the
right.
void.
I will trace the pattern on the puzzle box, lock my hands into that position, look at Father O'Donnell and say, pray for me, Padre, as I complete the puzzle box.
You can see him murmuring.
That is an 11.
On a hit, you travel to the fragrant void and gain keen insight into a thread of your choice. The keeper reveals 2 clues, and no entity from the void will disturb you. All right, so go ahead.
Are we treating the Coven and Titania as the same threat?
Oh, it's all part of the mastermind threat, correct?
Then there we go. We got our answer.
I think smoke, as you make your way, as the creature snuffling and shambling, you don't really notice any of the other people that are like running around and trying to hide or make themselves less noticeable in the forest. I mean, some of them are making some efforts and some of them are just kind of looking lost. And I think that's what your mother looks like. She looks lost, just kind of looking up, contemplating whether she wants to go up in the trees, but she might be a little bit too frail to do so. Or even just thinking about hiding in like one of the moss-covered clefts or something like that in this landscape. But yeah, you catch up to her, and she turns around, hearing your breathing, and goes, "I'm no meal for you. I'm just someone lost. But if this is my end, I suppose I'm here." And she'll just stand there and spread her arms out like, what else is there to do? What do you do?
Can I tell directions and such myself?
You mean like north, south, east, west, or whatever?
No, like which way I came in,
Mhm.
and things like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm just gonna tug her jacket or whatever she's wearing, and just with my arms, be careful if I can't, like, do not claw her. Basically, if I scratch her, I scratch her, but like in general, and start dragging her to not quite to where I came from, but also away from the rest of the crowd. Potentially, I want to make my way towards where Mildred and Atticus are, but without going through the central open area, sort of. That makes sense. Not quite sure how the map of this looks like, but yeah. If I can get to Mildred and Atticus through the forest, that would be
Mhm.
great.
I think you pick up other scents, and then you kind of like, will start to engage more with your senses, and then figure out in your brain like what you're looking for, or you're going to go towards that scent. But you are dragging this, dragging your mother, this woman, like with you. What are you doing? Are you trying to drag me away to your den? What is this? Just kill me right here. It's fine. Lost my husband, lost my children. There's no point, is there? And she just kind of becomes resigned, and then we'll let you drag her to wherever you're going.
Yeah, I'm going to try to maybe like basically almost, I think at some point I start running on fours instead of on twos. But if I can like manage to keep a grasp on her somehow, like that would be great. Or just kind of signal her to follow me, that also works. Or maybe like, yeah, I'm just sort of trying to run on fours, but it's more like on threes because one hand is like dragging this woman behind me. Not going to say anything or stop or anything when she, starts lamenting stuff.
All right, all right. Can only hope you're leading me. Well, not to safety, then at least give me a dignified death, I suppose. Ugh. And she'll just go along with it because you're dragging her along. Let's flip over to Eligos. Eligos, you've talked with the man in the sun mask. What do you do now?
But my pact demands of me. I must not leave Mildred's side. Where has she gone?
I think you feel that inner thread from the blood rose that ties you two together, and you will make your way along the same path where she is. And then, Mildred, you have seen Sir Atticus. You've told him how to unlock the passageway into the fragrant void. And you have Dr. Noble. What do you do?
I look to her and I say, you can't run like that. Not in this. And if it's possible, because I know I can do it to myself, but is it possible to kind of like perform a rite on someone else to give them benefits?
Interesting thought. Parlay using something to tie you two together, so this way your ritual will affect her as well. Tell me how you do it.
Take off your boots.
I beg your pardon?
Take off your boots. This is going to be very uncomfortable, but it will help us.
Okay. And she removes them as quickly as she possibly can, looking at you strangely all the while.
And I'm going to, just sort of as a part of the ritual, I'm going to use and mark these for advantage. I'm going to use my specialty leaves for divination, but they're not going to be for divination this time. She's going to kind of, she's going to take out the knife that she has, and she's just going to cut across the bottom of her sole, the sole of her foot, and then take Dr. Noble's foot. Just trust me. And she'll slice down. And when she does, she'll take out the tea leaves, rub them into the wounds, And the attempt is to make them both able to run and move faster than humanly possible to try and catch up.
All right, go ahead and activate your move.
All right, let me go ahead and roll.
And I'm going to say I'm going to give you advantage because of the blood.
Well, I was marking the tea leaves as advantage as well. So.
Okay. All right, that's fine.
Y'all, I'm not rolling great today. But I thankfully have a good sensitivity score, so that's gonna be a 9.
Okay. I mean, if you were gonna say 3 again, I'm gonna be like, what is going on? Ooh, okay. So, on a 9. Question: when you cut your foot, did you immediately cut off? I mean, cut off. Did you immediately cut into Dr. Noble's foot right afterwards, or did you clean the knife in between?
I didn't know.
Okay. I know it's not in this game, but I'm gonna do it anyway. There's gonna be a little hold. Hold on. For later.
I don't know what that means.
I know. It's gonna be great. So anyway, tell me how this works. Tell me how you succeed, how this looks, where you get you both to go faster.
Yeah, no, as she's kind of creating this pulse, this we call it a poultice, mixture of tea leaves, dirt, and blood. She kind of like lathers their souls with it. And she looks to her and says, "All right, follow me." And she will start to just run as best as she can. I mean, obviously, she's still kind of in a corset and a skirt, but yeah, she's running in the same direction that she hears the cackling.
I think you hear Dr. Noble pretty much keeping up with you. You are swift as hinds, running through the forest. You're not even necessarily running, you're actually bounding. You're able to traverse this undergrowth, overgrowth, whatever it is, with fleet feet. And with that, Sir Atticus. Now, in all seriousness, I mean, I was reading the chat. Were you trying to take Father Donald with you, or you're actually by yourself? What's going on?
I'm intending to go by myself. It is a cursed puzzle cube, so if it just wants to pull in the Padre into the fragrant void,
I think it's pulling the Padre into the fragrant void, and I'll tell you what happened.
Poor guy. All right.
So you smell the smells that you had in your nostrils when you first came.
Deep incense. Yep.
And you feel the deepening and stagnancy of the air as it sits in your chest. And then you come out almost like where you were before, but not in the church, not in the
theater. In the theater?
You appear outside of the Black Obsidian Theater. It's gray, it's overcast, so it's daytime, but again, it's not very light out here. And you see the obsidian is not shining, it's just kind of dull and sits there like a heavy stone. And Father O'Donnell is next to you, and you hear him say, "What in goodness name happened?" Here's what happens. When you look at Father O'Donnell, he is basically as buff as you are. He is in hunter's clothes with weapons of his own. One of them looking like it has a cross emblazoned on it. And he also has kind of this weird sash bandolier thing going on. I mean, he is dressed in adventuring boots, and he's just looking at himself and he's got the gauntlets and the gloves and everything. He's like, "What just happened?" He looked at you and said, "What has happened to you, my friend?" And then you see yourself back in your priest robes when you were here before.
The grass is always greener on the other side, Padre.
Well, I mean, I always wanted to adventure, absolutely, but this is a bit much. Where
It
are
suits you, Father.
Where are we? I don't understand.
It's a place of things that could have been. And if we're lucky, we'll be able to meet a companion who spends her time here.
How do you call the Duke of Blood, if that's who you're thinking of? Mind you, the dear father has a bunch of weapons now.
Yes. Please don't mind my well-armed companion, milady. I am here to visit again, as I promised. Just loud and booming, welcoming. I don't even have that like broken staff and with the sharpened point. I'm just here as is.
Oh, okay. Who are you talking to? What are we doing here?
We are looking for answers. We must fight one being from another plane with someone of equal measure. At least I hope. Yeah, I say a little under my breath. I'm not exactly Mildred here.
No, true. But I'm going to say, remember what she's called, so you're going to need to do something to invoke her in that way.
Ah, right. Father, you have a boot knife, yes?
I suppose so now. And then he, like, without even realizing he's doing it, he whips it out with a practiced hand, does like a little bit of a flick and a twirl, and then like he, has it in his hand. And here you are. Oh, pardon. And then he flicks it so he has it handle out to you.
Good man. Take it, cut my hand open, and splatter the blood on the floor.
And the blood will sink into its own little pool as it rises into a whole form. Into the familiar face of the woman in the gray leathers and the gray and red cowl. You're back.
As I promised.
Atticus. Oh, did you promise? Well, I mean, some people will choose to stay when they're first here instead of leaving and coming back again. But I understand the appeal. What can I do for you here?
You are a master of your own domain, such as it is.
Such as it is, yes.
And so you must have experience with what it takes to get to a place such as this.
Usually, again, as I had said, it's through the Waitley camera or rituals or solving mysteries, what have you.
And the rituals bit is where we require assistance. We are trying to take down Titania. And she is trying to open a way to the Fae.
Is she now?
I thought you'd find that interesting.
It is. She finds herself trapped, does she? I wonder how long it's been. She says that to herself, not to you.
Yeah, no, she's working this out on her own. Give her the time that she needs. Make sure that the Padre isn't wandering off into the crazy theater that we were at before. Don't need to deal with all of that right now.
Oh, and you brought a friend. Welcome, sir. I hope you enjoy your stay, as hopefully as short as it might be. I imagine you want to get back. Is that the problem?
That would ideally be the case. We do have to bring any information that you could provide to ruin Titania's master plan.
Oh, ruin it. I would love to.
I thought you would.
But how is she doing it? There has to be some impetus for this ritual. What is she doing that she's going to bring herself back home?
Would you believe that she's planning on killing the Queen of England after reenacting the Wild Hunt in the woods that she owns?
How unoriginal. Ugh. Ugh. Interesting.
Yes,
So
very unoriginal.
does she already have the queen? That's the
Yes.
important part. This could be a little bit more difficult. If she spills that blood, she will definitely have a way to get back home. It is part of the most important rituals of all. Blood. Interesting. I might have something that could help after all. And she will maneuver her hands in some sort of pattern fashion. And you see the blood droplets come away from her face and her clothing and create this like roiling blood sphere in front of her. And Father O'Donnell is looking with wide eyes as this is happening. And she will separate her hands and cup them and say, drink, taste. You are a hunter, yes?
Yes.
You understand the smells that are needed, the senses that you enact when you hunt. Do so now.
I will cup her hands and lift them to my lips, and then drink deep of the blood that she offers.
You feel as if you are drinking a compass, like you are able to sense direction of where things are coming from. You feel the blood thrum in your own body through your veins. That is a clue.
Okay.
A sense of blood thrumming through your veins.
This is a peculiar feeling.
You should be able to bring that back. You hunt by smell or by sight?
Smell.
You will find your senses a little bit sharper once you get back home. Now that leaves the interesting part. How do you get back home?
Last time Mildred opened a way. Don't suppose it'd be that easy.
The little sorceress, yes? She has something roiling inside her as well. I could smell it. But it actually felt distant, as if it wasn't able to come into the fragrant void, which it's not for every entity. Let's put it that way.
Isn't it now?
No, it's not. Yeah. And if I remember correctly, she had some of my blood mingled with hers, didn't she? I might be able to help later. Maybe. If we can get you back home. How did you get here?
I hold up the puzzle cube.
I haven't seen one of those for, well, we don't measure time here.
Oh.
Do you know how to unsolve it?
I hold up the piece that I moved. I move my hand in the opposite direction that Mildred taught me how to trace it, and just get ready to move it in the reverse placement again.
And I think she'll come up to you. And as you're moving the box, as Father O'Donnell is still looking at both of you with wide eyes, she'll come up to you and then she'll kind of trace the same pattern with her bloodied fingers. And then she will get her face close to yours and give you a lingering, bloody kiss. And I think the puzzle box at this point will open back up and blood will seep out of it. But then this blood creates a portal. It's not big. It's not very big. You guys are going to have to like kind of poke yourselves through, but you know, you can get back home.
Mhm.
And the second clue is when you get back, double check Mildred. The hand that she specifically used for the portal when you left the first time. Check her hand. See what it looks like.
I'll keep that in mind.
Farewell, Sir Atticus.
I'll be back.
And friend. I hope you will.
And I guess we fall backwards into the portal.
Yeah, as it swallows you and bubbles. So that's your second clue, essentially Mildred's hand.
Okay.
Mildred's bloodied hand. Yeah. Okay. All right. I think that covered everybody. 9 for the hold for Dr. Noble. I'm still wanting to do something about that. Let's see. How many clues do you guys have at the moment? Well, I mean, we can open it up possibly for maybe another round, but I mean, you know, you've got 7 clues for a 6 complexity. I want to know if you have any idea where this place would be.
2d6 plus 1.
To answer the question, where will Titania spill Victoria's blood?
Well, I think it has something to do with the tree that Greco showed, the tree with gold branches and silver roots.
Sure.
I think I don't know if this would count as like fighting location or established. Maybe it's not like these, because I'm thinking maybe it's less about like finding the location as much as it's about embellishing the location to essentially prepare it for the ritual.
Okay.
So the idea is that the blasphemous ritual has the means to sort of transmute the space to make it suitable as a gate, which involves lighting the branches of the tree on fire. Like that's the gold. The only other stuff that I'm not certain of,
Like it's all analogous?
Sure, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Those are the only 2 I had an idea for.
I mean, the beautiful man surrounded by animals might be a depiction of the Fae, like that's a target. And failing that, the best we got is Queen Victoria surrounded possibly by like some caged animals or something.
Or because Eligos was the one who was told about the brass bell, and we know he has this connection, maybe he has to be the beautiful man surrounded by animals, and he calls those animals by ringing a brass bell.
So Titania is forcing him to be a part of the ritual, despite him not wanting to. He is just driven. It is going to happen.
All right, tome easy. That is the tome that Victoria used to seal, Elizabeth used to seal the original pact. Brass bell. Bells are the only way of marking time in realms outside of it. 7-pointed star, 7 o'clock. Sensation of thrumming blood is, I mean, it is the pulse of last life. Blood is obviously central to this ritual, given our question is about where it will spill. But if I have,
I like the points about the time.
Yeah, no,
What
I'm
if
just
it is
trying to
an
connect that to space in my brain.
nothing says that we have to have like she's not gonna kill necessarily Victoria in this realm, right? Like nothing says she has
Well,
to.
no, she had nothing we have
It-
here says she has to, but it has been heavily implied that she has to get to the Fae. As that's the
what were you
purpose
thinking?
of the ritual.
What were you
What
thinking?
What
were
was
you
your
I-
idea,
thinking?
Smoke?
I was just thinking of like Mildred's ritual room because the question we had was where, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
that is,
and
I like that a lot, actually. I like this whole thing being a smoke screen.
But we'd have to
like
go
the
back.
wild
We'd
hunt,
have to-
everything just got like this whole thing is just get the hunters out of Hargrave House so I can break in and use their classy
I
ritual.
mean,
It's-
it's
yeah, they're
kill multiple
ready-made.
birds with one stone. So
That's kind of brilliant. That's kind of too brilliant not to be the correct what I'm running with right now. That's fun. I like that a lot.
Okay. So the painting acts as like our main architecture for it. There's this idea of we need a beautiful man surrounded by animals, like summoned by the bell in the core of like a 7-pointed star
What-
at 7
what painting?
p.m.
What painting?
Isn't that what the beautiful man surrounded by animals? It was depicted in
Oh, okay, got you. Okay,
Yeah,
The-
it
the-
was,
the-
it
you're
was
saying-
one of the guy's paintings,
got it.
So-
Okay.
along with the giant baby.
yeah, so Titania has this guy draft all of these paintings as like this one will be the design for the grand return to the Fae, and everyone buys into it. But the real clues would be the tome of blasphemous rituals, the sensation of blood throbbing through the veins, and specifically Mildred's blood enchanted hand, which is why the coven is involved. The blasphemous rituals are coven rituals. Opening of the way requires coven magic in a place of coven aligned power, specifically the Hargrave House ritual room.
Or maybe
You know,
not
it'd be
even
really funny.
maybe not even the coven. Maybe it's Mildred specifically.
So I think this tree has to like line up in some way, I think. So I think maybe because I like the idea of the room being involved. And I
I'm
think
going to
that they're
say-
powerful enough to transport pieces of space to different places. So maybe it's about maybe they're
I'm gonna-
maybe they, oh, go on.
I'm going to do a callback here. Don't forget who became a servant of the mastermind. Partially. So, who had a room in Hargrave House? Who had a room leading into Hargrave House? What happened to that key?
What happened to that tree?
Special. Exactly.
Ooh.
So,
Oh, because
you know
it's-
I love callbacks. Come
oh,
on now.
Okay,
But you don't have to include it. I'm just mentioning.
no,
It's like
no,
Lord
no.
Oda's here.
I love a
He's
connection.
here somewhere.
He is
We
here.
So-
all forgot, so thank you.
I can't
Okay,
wait for someone else
so-
to beat him up. Um,
okay, so it's not a juke. The tree is being used as a doorway into Hargrave House using Oda's connection.
well, I think it's the tree that Mildred burned down of his bonsai tree.
Oh, you burned it down. Oh,
Yes.
Okay.
That's what the gold is, like fire. I think that's what it is. It's not actual gold. I
Okay.
think it's just like symbolic of flame. But
But
the
the
garden,
star
there was an
would
entrance.
be-
The garden, I
know
think
the
there's
star
something
would
about
be
the time.
fire, I think, rather than the gold, but still.
I think it's the gold. But here's my point. I think I just kind of like building off what you were talking about with time. I think the 7 point of the star is about time. It's winter, so nights are earlier, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think it could ostensibly be maybe like 6:15 p.m. here. Who knows? But the gate has to be opened at 7 with the sound of the brass bell as part of the like symbol of time. The door, the Tome of Blasphemous Rituals is perhaps to resurrect, or at least open up that gate that leads from. Because here's the thing: is because the room that Oda had, it was attached to Hargrave House, but it led to Buckingham Palace. So there's the idea that like of space and time just like not mattering in between those points. So if the idea is that they're trying to invade our house to use my ritual chamber, then I think that then, I mean, Oda would have to be involved in some capacity, right? Beautiful man surrounded by animals. His burning tree, possibly burning, or could just be gold, who knows? Okay, so Mildred's blood enchanted hand needs the ritual chamber. Yeah. Sensation of blood thrumming through veins is, I mean, we don't have to use everything, but we probably should.
Well, we're a flat roll now.
Yeah, we're a flat roll, yeah.
So I'll just make it and mark a mask. It's fine.
I'll let you roll, and I don't mind marking a mask. It's fine.
You only have one.
I've got two now because I have the I brought
right.
the book of poetry.
I have 8.
Yeah, why don't you mark one of those masks?
How many does Smoke have?
I have the one that is left from my items, and that's
Okay.
8. I mean,
Cool.
unless we're counting the blood-soaked portal, of course.
No.
Look, it's me or Atticus here. Let's not. Why are we counting the low numbers?
All right.
No. Eligos should make the roll.
Okay. Eligos, you make the roll. Make it flat.
Are we rolling with flat, or are we rolling with that?
I don't know how to tie in the throbbing veins, unless someone has an idea. But
I mean, it can symbolize like a blood sacrifice, like blood pulsing out of. Have you ever, how in movies when they slit a throat, they always make it like pulse out a little bit? That's kind of what the image I'm being invoked here.
Okay.
So
here's the real question though. Is the point to, because there's a lot of people here, is the point to bring the chamber here, or is the point to try and get all these dozens of people into the Hargrave House and to file them into the chamber?
That's a very good question.
And
I'd like to know the answer.
I know you would.
I think we could decide that with a roll. I'm more inclined to it bring the chamber here.
I am too, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
So
just for
are we
flavor
doing-
too.
Okay,
I was just
so
going
are
to
we
say for
doing
flavor
the-
too, maybe there's also a 7-pointed star on the floor of the ritual chamber.
Could be. And that's how they're tying it in. But I mean,
Yeah.
are we using the blood thrumming through the veins clue? To get
I
a plus
don't know.
one?
I don't have a good way to put that in. But
I
if someone else
really,
does.
I feel like we've done our blood thing with the hand.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a flat roll. See how it goes.
It's fine. We have masks.
You have masks.
Well, and I need them because that is a 5 on the dice.
Ay, caramba.
All right.
Oh,
Cool.
man. Okay.
I'll mark a mask.
Okay.
So we all mark a mask?
Yes, you all have to mark a mask of some sort.
Oh, fuck. That is how this works.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Yes, dear.
I marked it. It's
I
marked.
should have lied.
Yup.
No, that's how we
Matt,
do it.
I have a question. How does
Sure.
the personal quarters mask thing work?
Oh,
Like,
Yeah.
does
It-
that
it-
also mark the personal quarters, or?
no. Basically, it's two separate things. Okay. So if you're
Okay.
going to use the mask of the personal quarters item, then you would just kind of like cross off the mask part, cross off the mask phrase in it. But then you don't check off the item unless you actually want to use the item for something later. Okay. Go ahead and just cross off the mask on the list, so we know you're using that particular mask. Okay, so mask of the what the hell did I call it? I'm sorry. So for smoke, it is Mask of the Seconds. And then Mildred, which mask are you using?
Mask of the Past.
Sir Atticus, which mask are you using?
I am marking the Darkened Threshold.
Can't remember what that does.
Narrate a scene where you kill an innocent for the sake of the hunt.
Cool. Thanks.
Oh, okay. Eligos, which mask are you marking?
Mask of Minutes attached to the spool of thread.
Okay. Damn. Okay. All right. That
Oh
brings
wait,
us up
fuck!
to
I can't. I didn't bring
why?
that with me. Oh wait. No, Oh no, I have 4 things marked here. I think I took the gargoyle claw in my infinite hubris
Well, okay. So if it's
instead of the one with the mask attached.
okay, so if it's not Mask of the Minutes, which one are you doing? Are you doing a Mask of the Future or Mask of the Past?
I will do a mask of the past.
All right. So that brings us up to a 7 to 9. On a 7 to 9 for the answer question, it's correct solution and the opportunity can be pursued. But I will add an unwelcome complication to the answer, and or pursuing the opportunity will become more dangerous. I'm gonna say both. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I think as you have decided where you think this is going to happen and come to the realization, I think you see through the trees back towards the house. I think you see the strange sight of some people being brought back. They've been caught, but they're being herded back to the house by animals like rhinos or large cats, all creatures that you may have remembered from when you were at Limehouse, Mildred, with Lord Oda. He takes up the rear as he is resplendently dressed, and he has, for some weird reason, a kimono festooned with what look like gigantic wings. And he has one arm up and he's kind of waving everybody else on with the other hand, which has a fan in it. And you can hear him in the distance, but although you cannot hear what he says specifically. But yes, the people that they've caught are being herded back into the house.
I know you've been wanting to deck Lord Oda for quite some time. Perhaps this is your opportunity.
Are you a telepath? I don't think I've ever said that out loud.
No, but I can tell what you're thinking sometimes when you have that look in your eye. I've seen it before.
You know me too well. Right.
And
You will say, fixing the, pulling his glove taut, on with it then.
and Smoke, I think you find your companions and you have your mother in tow. So you all see this creature, this shambling creature with like the remains of what looks like Smoke's suit that they were wearing. And they have somebody in there, they are pulling on somebody with a big claw, a woman who is like a frailer old woman. It's like, can you help me? I don't know. This creature has been trying to drag me all over hell and yon. And
Well, this explains the porcupine quills in the servants' quarters.
what?
Smoke.
You know
Smoke
this
is
creature?
going to Smoke is going to look up and just look at Mildred. Normal expression. Stand up. I was probably on like half crawling.
If it's okay, I think she would put her hand to whatever sort of cheek you might have and just sort of look you in the eyes and say, "This is quite a beautiful and rare form you have."
Smoke is going to, I think, just stare a little confused and just blink, let go of the mother's hands. I think that's already happened as soon as she got her to they got her to relative safety. But yeah, just sort of relax a little and not say anything.
If I may be so bold, madam, are you an American?
Yes, I'm not sure how I found myself here. I seem to have been on a trip and then here, and I don't know why.
And how long has your daughter, child, been missing?
Callum has been missing for quite some time. How did you know?
Atticus
Yes.
will nod in understanding.
You've found them. Probably not, as you were expecting.
And she will reach for a part of you that is not quilled and try to get around you and turn you around to look at her. Smoke. Callum?
I will look, and if she says Callum, I'm going to raise a porcupine eyebrow, I suppose. Uh, um, and I'm going to, well, I'm not going to hurt her or anything. I'm just going to stand there and just sort of shrug.
I don't. If this is why you left, I don't know what to say.
Perhaps it's just best to get to safety.
Yes. Where
Yeah,
are
so
they?
when Mildred says that, Smoke is also going to just sort of, get back to the sort of high alert mode of, yeah.
And she
Can
points
I
over to the group. Yeah, go
can I
ahead.
try to sniff out, like, is anyone else close by that would hurt us? Like, just in general, is anyone aside from this party close by?
I'm not even going to make you roll for it. I mean, like, you immediately smell what smells like fire and sulfur and brimstone. And if you're all in a group, I think, like, Father O'Donnell, like, back in his priest robes, is like, what's that smell? It smells like when the gargoyle. And as he says that, it's like you hear the screech again and the scream as the dark birds, descend upon you all. And
when they start to screech, Mildred will turn to Eligos and she'll look up at him and say, "Go find Oda, go find your mother. Take care of them. I have business to tend to."
As you wish. And he will vanish.
No, wait. Take this with you. And she will put her hand to his chest and just look up at him. Her eyes will get sort of glassy, misty. She looks up into his eyes. And she'll pull away and she'll turn and start to go in the direction of the birds. But the thing that you feel kind of floating, I guess, on your chest or embedded in your chest is the blood key.
And he will vanish. There's a long pause. And he will vanish.
Atticus, what are you doing?
we have a direction. Oda is making a very big show of what direction we're supposed to go. I'm going to take the 2 innocents, question mark. I'm taking Father O'Donnell and Smoke's mama and Fireman Carry, both of them, straight into the fray. We are going.
Okay, then. All right. And
Following
Smoke.
Atticus.
Okay.
Yeah, following Atticus, just full sprint. I think I want to be in front because I'm probably a little faster, just being.
Yep.
And also, I might be able to smell if things are coming for us. So yeah, running ahead, smelling just like for Titania, anything on the ground that's not the birds and us, I guess.
I think all the people are being herded again into the house. And I think what's going to happen is that you will see that there is some kind of doorway open in the great hall where the ball was being held. And it is leading into Hargrave House, into one of the many rooms that you didn't know was there, possibly the gallery. That's usually one of the biggest rooms. And, as you come in, Smoke, I think Lord Oda is last in line as his animals are herding these people in. And he turns suddenly as if if you were about ready to lunge for him. He turns and says, "Why, Smoke, it's so good to see you." And then he lashes out. And let's just say combat begins, because then it's like a flurry of some of his animal companions and then his own moves, because granted he hasn't been warlike in a very long time, but he hasn't forgotten certain things. So, and I'm going to say, Sir Atticus, if you want to join in the fray, please do. So
Yes, I am sliding the 2 innocents on this marble floor towards the other innocents that have been herded in, drawing the burden and standing side by side with Smoke.
So, yes, mind you, I'm going to just say before I cut over to a different scene that Lord Oda is the undeniable and immortal, basically. So for a very, very long time. And I don't know whether burning the tree has affected him much, as I think, the one sapling is still intact somewhere. But yeah, he hasn't lost some of his fervor. All right. So we see the montage of you both advancing upon him as he directs his animal companions to engage. And let's flip over to Mildred. Mildred, yeah, the dark birds have ascended, and you see their winged type shapes, land on the ground with thumps, and they all cackle and make like they're surrounding you.
Helena, show yourself.
And they remove their masks that they had worn for this occasion, one by one, and then Helena is the last. And she shakes her hair free, and her face looks almost as it always has. Well met, Mildred. I see that you've learned certain things. Learned of us when you stole spells from us. How do you think we should deal with you?
Do what you need to. Try, anyway.
I believe you are housing something of value to us, and I think it is time that we take control. My sisters, let us claim our prize. And this is where they will engage and do something that you're probably very familiar with when they work in concert to create a hex of control. So Night move. What would you like to do?
Yeah.
Or
Night
like
move.
if you want to engage any of your
I mean, I'm
magics.
pretty sure I'm still gonna have to do the night move, but I think she's gonna try and do a counter ritual.
Sure.
Rite of salt and smoke.
Okay.
And I think what will happen is if she fails, they will kill her and take the beast.
Yes. I will say that is very possible. And they will take the beast and turn him against your friends.
So I'm going to use Taggart Side Knife as part of this ritual to give myself advantage.
Okay.
But if you want to go to Eligos, you can.
Okay. Eligos, you are heading in as everyone else is, but you are, I guess, doing a bit of a sneak to try and get the jump on Lord Oda.
Think so.
All right. You're a servant. He wouldn't necessarily notice. Or you could look like one of the herd. And what would you like to do?
I think less is more in this case.
Okay.
I'll just blend in as much as I can before I approach him.
Okay.
And where is good Queen Titania?
I think she is already in the portal. Like she has gone through and she is at Hargrave House getting ready to make the strike. When the pattern is right, the time is set, and the bell is rung. You can stay and engage and help your friends with Lord Oda, or you can try to go through the portal and confront your mother.
I've been given choice. Well, go big or go home.
In this case, go big and go home.
Could be.
Go big and
could
leave
be.
home, I think.
We'll see. All right. Heading in, going back to Hargrave House.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And you know where the room is. You know where the ritual room is. There are people that have been herded in either by the animals or by Cobweb and Peas Blossom, who are there guarding the door of Mildred's ritual chamber. I'm imagining that you are able to make your way without necessarily being seen. You're used to being a fine class servant, to be unnoticed.
And I know how our guards see. Better than perhaps anyone.
Okay. How would you like to engage?
Why bother? I'd like to slip through the door if possible. Follow. Is that what's happening? Did I misread the situation?
They are in front of the door, that of Mildred's ritual room.
Yes. And Mother is inside.
With Queen Victoria, I'm sure.
I know how I'm gonna play this. All right. Let's just walk up and say hi.
Okay. I'll let you roll for it. This is definitely night move for doing this.
So my strategy is, since I guess we're not role playing this out for time's sake, is walk up, go, my mother needs me inside, and then like wink and change my eye color a little, like imply that I'm bluff.
Okay.
Bluff being on their side.
Okay. Night move still. And what do you think will go wrong if you fail or lose your nerve?
Fun as it would be to... I think if I fail, since I have masks to burn and it won't happen, I think I might wind up bluffing the truth and following Mother's orders for a moment.
Yeah.
The
And
dangerous thing to lift a mask.
Yes. Yes, it is.
All right.
You will fall under her control for doing so. And you may be the one holding the knife that kills Victoria. if this
Well,
goes wrong.
Mom can get fucked.
Yeah.
That's a 10.
Nice. Okay. Alrighty. So you hold steady. You keep it going, and then you are able to enter the room. They recognize you, Puck. And so it's like, Puck, where have you been? Goodness. She was about ready to do the ritual without you. You need to be the one ringing the bell. She asked us to guard the door just in case some of those Hargrave House people come back.
Oh no, let them through. I've guided them very subtly. They have their parts to play.
Can we have fun first? Is that okay? I want to tussle with that hunter fellow, Sir Atticus.
Every moment is, as you know, crucial. But very well. If you must.
I'll try to keep it brief. Thank you. And Peace Blossom will bow a little bit and then let you in. Okay, flipping back to Mildred. Mildred, all right. How's this look? What's going on?
So it looks like, with the advantage, it's a success, but I want perfection. And so I'm going to mark a mask, which will bring me to a 13.
Okay. All right. Is this another Mask of the Past, or which is this now?
It is a mask of the future.
Okay. All right. Okay. So with a 13, you tell me, what kind of success do you have? Beating the shit out of the Coven.
Mildred looks up at Helena, and I imagine she sees Sam in the clutches of a couple of them.
Yes.
And then she turns back up to Helena. You've harmed far too many innocents. You've taken that boy from his mother, just as you took me from mine, and sorcered her. For years, I spent thinking about this moment. But what I would do when I saw you again. You want the beast so much. You want its power. Have it. And she will take the knife, drag it through her throat, and when she does, blood gushes from it. But as it gushes from her throat, it forms into the shape of the beast, at least its top half. And the beast just begins to ravage and tear through, starting with Helena and then bounding from the others, from one witch to another, just tearing them into this bloody mess. Limbs are flying everywhere. They're screaming and howling, and feathers. And all the while, Mildred's body collapses to the earth. Her eyes open, blood ebbing out of her throat.
I think Dr. Noble will burst out of the forest at this point. Somehow she lost you all. And she will, Samuel! And she'll grab her son and then cover his face as this is happening, trying to protect him as best as she possibly can. But when she sees your body there, Mildred, she will staunch the blood as best as she can, and she will try and keep you alive.
I marked the blood slip portal.
I think we leave that particular scene with Dr. Noble trying her best. but it is futile. Sir Atticus, Smoke, you are engaged with Lord Oda's menagerie, and he is bringing out his weapons. He's got some rope, and he is essentially using it to field you off, but also trying to choke the life out of you in his own way. Night moves for both of you because you have, again, the menagerie to deal with, as well as Lord Oda trying to sneak in and disable, if not completely kill you. So
Do I have advantage because I have a revolver and I am made of knives? Not really, but
sure. I mean, you totally have advantage because of your natural ability, for sure.
Okay, night move. What am I afraid of? I am afraid of getting trampled by this menagerie, as I would like to cut a bloody swath through the entire menagerie so that Smoke has a clear shot at this arrogant so-and-so.
I am scared that, well, I'm not scared of the menagerie. I don't want to,
it'll be
I'm scared Oda's going to have the last word. That's not something I want. I'm scared that, so I remember what he said, that one, I think he was the one who was with me when I transformed the first time, and
He did.
I remember what he said, where he called me a beautiful and fascinating creature. And you know what? Fuck that. Fuck him.
All right. Let's go.
If I'm a beautiful, fascinating creature, I'm a beautiful, fascinating creature on my own terms, not on Oda's weird ass terms. So yeah, okay. That is, what am I rolling with?
Vitality. Absolutely vitality.
Okay, that is a 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go.
10 with advantage. Just, yeah.
Okay.
That is a 12 on the die plus 3 for a 15.
Okay. So I
would like to destroy this man's personal zoo.
Oh, goodness. Oh, my gosh. All right. Well, veil that stuff, because just in case, anybody's listening and going like, oh my God.
I'm not going to go into detail. It's just, there were animals. They are no longer in the way.
Right. And because of your 15, I'm going to say that you can totally help Smoke at least deal with Lord Oda as you both will.
No more ropes. I've seen this dude's rope collection. I have used the ropes. No more ropes.
How do you take the use of the ropes out of his hands?
Smoke, if you don't mind, can I just cut off his hands?
I go for it. I'm good with you cutting off his hands. But I would in general, I would like you to leave him alive so I can whack him finally. That's
no. This is your prey.
And how would you like to deal with him?
I'm going to go up to him, fairly close, and just, I think, in my sort of hunched over beast form, even though I might technically be taller, I'm shorter because of this thing. And I look up at him, and then I'm just going to hold the revolver in my sort of weirdly spindly hands and just shoot him in the heart.
I'm going to say that as you shoot him in the heart and he collapses for now, he will say that and say, Smoke, I've always thought you so beautiful this way. I'll be back to enjoy more of this, our dance together, as he topples over and slumps for a little while. Ah, Eligos, you have made your way into the room. You see
Indeed.
the star pattern on the floor. It looks like there was already blood spilled to create said pattern or to accentuate it on Mildred's floor. And the bell is there ready to be rung. You see Fairy Boy there and Periwinkle in attendance, and they are in ceremonial robes, still wearing their masks, as Titania has Victoria kneeling on the floor, still in the wood manacles, and she has her by the hair, and she looks up, still wearing her mask, as she has the knife in her hand ready to go. So, have you decided to join me in returning home? So close. And you see the beginning of some kind of portal building in front of the star pattern.
Yes. I shall take my place. Bring me the bell.
And Fairy Boy will hand you the bell as well as the stick for it. You must take your place over here, right by the portal. As soon as I cut her throat and let the blood spill, we need that bell to ring to announce my return. Oh, returning home. I can feel it. I can feel the blood. I can feel it pumping underneath my fingers. You ready? And she brings the knife up, ready to slice Victoria's throat. What do you do?
We cast the bell aside. To hell with dignity, I go for the throat.
What are you doing? As your hands go around her throat.
Mm-hmm.
Victoria falls forward as you grasp your mother's throat in front of this portal. And Fairy Boy and Periwinkle are advancing towards you as you're doing this. What do you do? Or let's just put it in night move to make it easy and let the dice roll where they may. Vitality.
Yay, I took one. No, I didn't take one in that. I became smarter instead. Doesn't matter. That's a 10 on the dice.
You tell me. You hold steady. You do what you intend. And what happens?
I hold steady. And at the last moment, I do not let go, but I pick up the knife and just not even cast it away, just stow it in my coat. Not one drop. No blood this night. Ever onwards to a stranger dawns, mother.
Do you choke her or do you let her go?
Oh no, I'm choking the life out of her. Was that not clear?
No.
I
And how
thought
do
I
you-
let off with that. Yeah, no. Until her light goes out.
And I think You're able to do so in such speed that by the time Periwinkle and Fairy Boy realize what you're doing, they're too late. And whatever glamour was on them for this night has gone away, and they stop in their tracks and look at each other and wonder why they're here. And you hear a banging on the door on the ritual room as Peas Blossom and Cobweb burst in, and they don't look like themselves anymore. They've reverted back to their human selves. A tall, but not as tall, thin woman, and a portly or corpulent fellow, both in shabby clothing, and they look horrified at you. What did you do? We're supposed to go to the Phalanx. She said we're supposed to be. What did you do? Do you think anything happens to you when you...
No, not visibly. Not a mouse shall disturb this hallowed house. I am sent with broom before to sweep this dust behind the door. Be silent.
I think the portal fades. And with that, we close the mastermind thread. If everyone could let me know. Short epilogue. Kind of trophy dark style, I guess.
Or Mildred, I think it's pretty simple. It's that same night when Eligos closed the portal, it left him at Hargrave House, away from the others, apparently. And I think as he waits for the others to arrive back home, there's a rumbling in the house. And there's a knock at the door. And it's strange. You would maybe expect like a bell to ring, but it's a very kind of slow, heavy knock. And when Eligos opens the door, he sees a very large looming figure covered in oily, mangy fur and horns and these burning golden red eyes. But he's cradling something in his hands, in his arms. He looks down at Eligos. She's yours now. Take her to the gardens. It's what she wants. And he sets the corpse of Mildred Bloom at his feet on the doorstep. And in a flash, there's just sort of like flush of wind and the scent of sulfur, and the creature is gone. And it is just Mildred there, lifeless, her throat open, her eyes open, looking up, not at Eligos, but just open and glassy.
Digging a grave is never easy. Not least for moving the 6 feet of dirt. And by the time the grave is dug, Eligos is sweaty and caked in mud, just as disheveled as he has ever been. Silent the whole way through. And as he lays her there, he will take the key from his breast, from his heart, from his breast, draw it to the lock around his throat, and turn it. And Eligos is no more. The collar falls to the grave. And when it is fully covered, again in silence, we hear how I had wished to fly with you. Fare thee well. And we pull back to reveal honesty in tears.
We see a montage of the aftermath. Father O'Donnell, a number of the civilians at this estate being escorted bit by bit back to London, away from the rolling hills. The walk back is a lot shorter, although a couple of people are able to pile into one of the leftover carriages from the estate. There's a little bit of a smile on Atticus's face. It was a good hunt. It was a good fight. And as the carriage gets emptier and emptier with people who are being dropped off, eventually there is just one person left, an older man, kind of destitute, just looking forward to getting home and getting some rest. And Atticus stops in the middle of a darkened industrial district, and the man is confused for a moment. And we see just a glint of silver as the man is cut down. Ankles, knees. And he looks up at Atticus, confused, crying for mercy, and the smile is gone. There is a steel there that was only revealed a little bit during the fight with Oda. And here, in this moment, as he spills this old man's blood, Mildred, what sensation does Atticus feel that the beast is near? Eligos, same question.
You notice that when the old man's body collapses to the ground, you see some of the blood trailing, and it's falling into one of the gutters. And you look into the gutter, and you see a silhouette that you're familiar with on a rooftop, and it's very brief.
What sensation do I have, Eligos? Oh.
And if you were to follow it up to that rooftop where you swear you had seen it, you would find tiles disturbed and just the finest layer of feathers, hair, it's impossible to say, glinting in the moonlight.
And there, in the industrial section of London, looking at these remnants with a body in a darkened alley, Atticus looks over London. and the scene fades as I increment the hunt by 2 on the X.
Fair. Smoke?
Atticus, I'd like to borrow you for a bit, actually. I think Smoke goes back on foot or paws, whatever. Smoke goes back early, not with the rest of the people. Before they leave at the hills, at Titania's residence itself, they give their mother a hug and they just turn away and walk or run, and they keep to the shadows and they get to Hargrave House, which is, I think, at this time already empty of Mildred and Eligos, and they go into their room. They wait for dawn, and dawn comes, and they look at themselves, and they still look like they did in the night. And they look at their mirror, and they screech, and it's this screech that echoes throughout the house. They're just screaming, and no one's there to hear it. Atticus, whenever you come back, whenever that is, there is on the main lobby table, whatever, this small note that says, one more hunt, ? And it's signed by Smoke. Their handwriting looks trashier than usual if you've ever seen it before. Yeah, what do you do?
He picks up the note. He goes up to your room, scans it, and you see that he's...
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll just be, I think, just sort of embracing the mirror, or there's this like parts of the glass have shattered, but I'm just sort of caressing my own face.
He will go over to the side table and he will set the burden aside. And he will begin to roll 2 cigarettes using some of the very fine stuff that you've brought over from the pond, from across the pond. He will leave a cigarette in front of you. He will take a cigarette for himself.
And I will pick up the cigarette and I will hold it best I can with my wrong looking fingers right now because the cigarette doesn't quite sit as comfortably. And I will fumble to light it and not be able to do that.
He will light his cigarette and then very gently come close, light yours with his, and say, I'll give you a day's head start. And then he'll sit down and just enjoy the cigarette with you. One last break.
And I think Smoke will also sit down and gingerly lift the cigarette to their lips. And from beside them, you hadn't noticed amidst all the clutter, they're going to just gently slide their colt towards you. And yeah, they're going to keep smoking for a little bit.
Yeah. I think we just fade from there.
And so ends the mastermind thread. Jack, if you want to do your Mask of the Past and marked Blood-Soaked Portal, that's fine. And
If it's okay, I don't think I will. I think it's I think that part's gone. I think she's had her moment, and I think she's resting now.
I'm so sorry. I should let you do it during the threat. I'm so sorry.
No sense dragging it out.
Okay. Well, if everybody feels the same way, you don't have to do the masks, I guess, if you don't want to. Stars and wishes, I guess. I mean, for not just this session, but also last session, and then for pretty much the whole series. I mean, it's been a way long ride. Maybe not as long for Atticus, but my God. Wow.
I'll start. I
Yes.
wish this could have ended differently for Mildred and Eligos.
Yeah.
But God, what a ride it's been.
Yeah.
It's a properly tragic ending. It
Yeah.
feels right.
Oh, we definitely like. I don't know. We were never going to be happy, but God, I am crushed.
Honestly,
Feels right, but we can be annoyed about it or sad about it at least.
honestly, going toe to toe with an entire coven and taking down a threat on her own is a pretty dope way to go out as a character. Like,
That's all I wanted.
But
they
you
gave you the best.
deserved more.
They gave you the best lead in. We will claim what is ours. And you're like, you're welcome to try here. And then you just go all out. Like that was it was solid. And then just the back and forth tension leading into Chris, just that very sad, quiet regret. Acknowledging that if only things had been different, you finally admit your feelings, but it's too late at that point.
Gee, this is I'm gonna cry about this when cameras are off. Sorry.
I know you had mentioned it previously, Eirinar, about like, oh hey, after all this is done, Atticus, do you want to go on one more hunt? And it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna go and we're gonna be monster hunters out in the Wild West. And seeing this like quiet moment, having the opportunity to do that. Thank you for including me in it. It was nice.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's epilogue was really good. Very dark and tragic and melancholy, very Victorian. Yeah, just I mean, I just love the last. Like, if this were a show, I just love the idea of, Atticus finding this note and going upstairs. Then the two of them, one in this hulking sort of porcupine form, the other one just having killed an innocent man, just sort of smoking, and it being really about kind of drinking in their regrets, and then realizing that let's just have today to just sit with that before we have to get back to being our usual selves tomorrow. And of course, Atticus's usual self is a hunter, and Smoke's sort of usual self is being a monster. And so the implications of that, I think, are really fun. I live for the unconsummated relationship between Eligos and Mildred. It's very Victorian to me. Just total restraint, total suppression of anything good. A part of me does wish that, that something more happy might have happened to them, but I don't think it would have lasted too long. Not necessarily between them, but just because of the way the world works. And I think that's just what it is. But I do like to think of, I like to think that Hargrave House garden is kind of constantly flourishing, and plenty of lavender and forget-me-nots, and
Mm.
it's always kind of it's a kind of self-maintaining at this point now that the person who always maintained it is a part of it. But yeah, just it was really good to get to play with you all with this story, this game.
Oh yeah.
I love this game. Obviously, I've run it a bunch of times, but this is the first time I got to play it, and I really got to play with Mildred and play with things that I was kind of looking to subvert and to kind of like experiment with. And overall, I think it paid off. And I really liked just this motley crew getting together, kind of forming the strange bonds that they did. And, obviously, given the nature of the game, it can't last forever. And yeah. Thank you, Mads. I hope that it was a satisfying ending for you to a very long campaign. But I hope that you feel happy with the way the story went. And yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think this is one of the most incredible stories I've like been a part of in this way. Yeah, Mads, like you have just. I mean, yeah, that was just what words. But yeah, it's been glorious, and I mean, yeah, I liked the inclusion of Oda. It felt nice. It was a little bit of like, way back when kind of thing. And I mean, yeah, I I I feel what happened with Mildred and Eligos was very Mildred and Eligos, but I'm going to be grumpy about it. Yeah, I'm going to be grumpy about it and write mental fan fiction about it. But yeah, that's just yeah. And Atticus, like, thank you for being smoking and punching things, buddy, and also just generally being a good sport to smoke in general, and then being cool with the thing. I wasn't sure if like yeah, it would be cool with your character. So yeah, just I yeah. I have very mixed feelings about this because everyone's gone and it's sad. I don't that's just how it is. But yeah, I look forward to seeing season 2 if you put it on your channel, Mats. And yeah, a glorious season.
Oh my God. Thank you guys so much. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a hell of a ride, I will say. And I thank you for dealing with my keeper foibles. And like when I was successful, it felt great, and when I was like, oh shit, I shouldn't have let you guys run with that, but I did it anyway, and I think it worked out. And there were some rules I broke, I know that, and it was fine because I think I was doing it in the service of the story that we were trying to tell. And I hope you feel like we had a good collaborative story, like you didn't feel like I was trying to push you in any particular direction. I mean, I love this game. I mean, being introduced to the Between was just such an amazing experience. And I love the fact that I'm able to share this with other people. And I really am very happy with the crew that played this game with me for my very first campaign ever in any other game. I mean, this is, again, an amazing experience, like from point A to point Z. Holy shit. Wow, what a ride. So many stars all across the season, like some brilliant moments, some really sad and emotional ones, and I was rooting for everybody. Maybe I made it a little too easy, maybe I made it like too weird, I don't know, but I hope you all had a satisfying arc for what you've done. We'll see Sir Atticus for a bit for next season. I mean, we have to see what happens for the beast. So that's a wish, you know.
Yeah.
And hopefully, if everybody else is on board, like, you know, seeing a season 2 and seeing what characters you come back as to join Sir Atticus at Hargrave House. Oh my God. Scheduling.
Yeah, scheduling. I don't think it's gonna happen for me. Sorry.
Okay.
But-
I mean,
We'll talk about it
Yeah,
offline.
yeah.
I would love to, but I have like I have a job starting from June, and there's no way I would be able to make this if I'm working like a 9 to 5.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. But my God, I mean, like, you know, you are an amazing crew. And with Ben, I mean, like, you know, leading up to Oda becoming a servant and then becoming the neighbor for a temporary amount of time. I mean, that was wonderfully brilliant and
do
very
love the neighbor.
helpful too.
I
Yeah.
I love that
That
neighbor.
was great.
Oh
Yeah.
And
The neighbor was
I
great.
think it really like it speaks to how strong a character Oda is that we were all so excited to get him involved at the end here.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
will just take this opportunity to say now that I've cleared my weepiness a little bit. Mads, I have been more on my bullshit in this game than any other. I've said it to you before, but I meant that. This has been everything I wanted it to be. Basically from moment one, and you have done so much to make that happen. Like, truly, thank you. This was incredible.
You're welcome. Oh my gosh.
And where would I be without the rest of you to play off of? Jack especially.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, definitely threw me for a curveball at the beginning because I wasn't expecting it. But you know, obviously I feel like it paid off really well.
Yes.
Uh,
Oh my gosh. And yeah.
I mean, could you imagine if Eligos had been Oda's?
Could you
Oh.
imagine?
Oh God.
Oh, that would have been
I mean, it would have been expected because usually you end up as the factotum of the undeniable or the
Explorer.
boring,
explorer.
pedestrian.
Well, you know, my mother had a factotum, which was interesting in itself. And
Yeah.
yeah, there's a ship that, like, you know, never sailed. So okay, great.
I love
Man.
I love a ship at port.
Oh my God, that was
a
hilarious.
ship that sunk
The
second
it was on its
hit
way
the open
out,
sea.
and then we just kept watching it
Run
slowly
aground
sink.
on a sandbar and just torn asunder.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it wasn't.
We watched the ship just kind of float.
Yes.
We thought it was going to kiss another ship,
Oh God,
but then
was...
that ship got its throat slit.
Oh God.
Excuse me.
Yeah. My God. Like
Sorry,
the
my
arc.
metaphors
It
aren't
was
great right now.
It's as you said. It's like, you know, it's perfect for Victorian times, wonderfully tragic, but goddamn, it's like my heart's torn out. Thank you very much. All right, great. Who needs that blood key and blood heart thing? I mean, blood lock. You know, that's small potatoes compared to like rip it out for me. But no, this was wonderful. Again, I can't thank you guys enough for bearing with me for this whole ride. And oh, what stories. So thank you.
Well, I hope the 6 people that watch this have a great time because I sure did.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I hope they enjoy the story. I mean, like that's always what I want. I mean, I want people to enjoy the story that they're listening to and they're watching. So I mean, it's mostly you guys. I mean, like, you know,
Do you have any other wishes? Things that you wish had happened differently?
Oh God. I wish I didn't let, like, you know, Oda spend so many masks. I wish I didn't let you all spend so many goddamn masks.
It was great. What are you talking about?
I wish I heard more of the mask, or like remember to hit record when I was supposed to, you know, so we wouldn't miss half that shit.
All of this came down to that theorize roll. All of it.
I know, and it always does. You guys have the most wonderful theories, most excellent theories, and then the roll fucks it up. So yes. I mean, if anything, maybe this gives a little bit of lessening about how you can play this game and not try to min-max power game this stuff. Please.
No, I've learned nothing.
I would do it.
The best.
Probably harder this time.
Yeah.
The best we can do is like try to get some sort of advantage, but even that doesn't work sometimes.
It's all
Uh,
right. Well, whomever gets to rejoin us and join us again for next season, for season 2. I mean, I hope again that they have a great time. And, for those of you that can't join us for whatever reason, thank you. Thank you so much again for, as Chris says, dealing with my bullshit and, making this. I mean, again, I could go over like each and every episode, comb through, like do a retro, what do they call them, a retrospective or whatever. But then
Mhm.
I'm gonna watch all the stuff all over again and go like, oh man, that was cool, or, ooh, I wish I hadn't done that. Oh, okay, but so many
I will
moments.
be posting in our group chat.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
hope you all know I have a lot more love to give over the coming days, weeks, however long
Okay.
it will take.
No, that's
Heck
fine.
yeah, let's
Well,
go.
Yeah,
I
drip it.
mean, if you like actually
Drizzle
will
it on us.
rewatch like the episodes with other folks too, maybe you'll find some other stuff that you can give stars and wishes about, like, oh damn, I wish that had happened, or why wasn't I there for that one? So
You know what? Things happen as they happen, and
it does. It really
the
does.
ending,
And
the ending all worked out.
it really did.
all
in its
worked
own
out.
way.
I think it's a testament to how strong these characters are, that literally whatever happened, we could have made it, like, it would have worked out.
It would
If
have
they
worked
lived,
out.
that was fine. If any more of us had died, except maybe Atticus. Atticus had to live.
Yeah.
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 Again, wow. I'm going to be thinking about this. I mean, like, possibly more for like my own keeper review of like, should I let him do that? Is that good? I don't know. But really, I mean, I like the resolve. I like the solution you came up with, and goddamn, wow, what an ending. I hope okay, so I'm gonna ask you honestly, and you don't even have to tell me like right now, but you can tell me in a DM if you want. But did you feel that your characters had the story that was inevitable for this game?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah,
I got so
Yeah.
caught up in the Mildred romance that I completely forgot to even consider what I would do. Like, I was caught so off guard by the idea of killing my mother. I thought Atticus was going to do it. Like, I truly,
No, it had to be you. It had to be you.
I feel like I flubbed that at the 99, at the 1 yard line. Like,
No.
I had to be you. It had to be you.
No,
Had to be.
no. I got to deal with the menagerie. I got it out of my system, and then we're gonna have to hunt smoke off camera. But like,
I feel like it makes sense.
no,
I mean, I feel like it makes sense
you
too.
can
From
cut
like
my last line. That was just something that I thought would be a fun idea, and it did not pan out.
I thought it was good. It was great.
No,
I think
Eh,
it all made sense too. Like if I was like show running, like it like Atticus supporting Smoke makes sense because Smoke is one of the originals, and so them having the moment to confront Oda made sense. And I think that in the second season there will be like that moment with the Beast and whatever threats that Atticus becomes involved with from the start, and having that establishing relationship with the mastermind, whoever it is, will it all makes sense. It's fine.
also just the brazen like, enough is enough, and then you just go and you choke Titania. Like, okay, yeah, that's fair. That's personal. That's visceral. I think that was a very good way to end it. That was the period to the sentence.
Yeah.
pretty much. Pretty much. So, I mean, I applaud all of you. My God. Bad rolls to wonderful moments to what the hell was that mask? And then just these emotional, vulnerable scenes that came out of nowhere that were just beautiful. So thank you guys so much. Oh my gosh. So I've got so much and nothing else. Anybody have any last thoughts?
I'll post Moody songs in the chat later.
Okay,
Thank you.
that's fine.
If y'all aren't going to be around for season 2, it has been a pleasure to play this game for the first time with such a wonderful crew. Y'all are awesome. Thank you.
Thank
Likewise.
you.
Well, Eligos, as you put it, you've been wanting to deck him for quite some time. This will be your opportunity to do it.
Say that again. I shall take. I guess I misheard. I shall take you up on the offer.
Oh wait, what happened?
Huh?
Did you hear me say something different? Or
Yeah, I misheard deck.
oh,
And
I mean, if you want, I'm not
was
going to stop
thrown.
you. I'm not gonna stop you.
I've heard you wanted me dead for some time. I'm like, yo, wait, hold on. This relationship has been very different.